Alright, so I'm not on my laptop, I'm not using my microphone, I'm just in bed and I'm using my phone. So yeah, that's pretty much gonna explain the mic quality of my phone. So, you know, don't expect too much editing from this edition. So, um, right here, since I figured it takes too much time to set up for these podcasts, and it just they're gonna turn out the same either way. So I figured I'm gonna do a review a day, and I'm gonna do it, as quickly as I can, just to get more videos out there for you guys. So alright, so I'm gonna do this individually, weekly reviews, and let's talk about Raw today. So I tuned in and I got to the segment. I think which segment was it? So I missed the New Day versus Cesaro and Sheamus, and I also missed the Stephanie McMahon segment at the beginning. But I heard that she took a shot at Punk, and I actually looked at the video on Instagram, I think, and I saw she actually mentioned his name, which came across to me as a big surprise. So I thought that was pretty interesting. It was actually a really really big wicked burn. So basically, if for those that didn't hear this, which I'm shocked you didn't, but there was the CM Punk chant as expected, and Stephanie basically stepped over him and said, if you keep that up for 2 minutes and 15 seconds longer, you would have lasted longer than Punk did. And, that was quite the burn. I don't know if Punk is going to sue for slander or whatever, which I wouldn't be surprised if he did. Anyway, I'm sure you're going to have those fans that are going to be like, "Oh, CM Punk's return confirmed. He mentioned Stephanie mentioned him," which I doubt that's going to happen. But anyway, as I'm looking at the results here, and I'm going to just go off of what I remember, but I'm going to look at the results here. So, I tuned in just in time for the Strowman segment with Jericho, where they're both talking about the rumors of what Rollins said about Strowman, and Jericho was just making all these insults and insults and insults and insults, and I guess Strowman was falling for it, or seemingly so, up until Strowman was like, "Rumors are crap, and so are you," and that was about it. And then Jericho and Owens just said, they're like, yeah, we hate rumors too. And I guess they just didn't hear him say, rumors are, or so are you, but, I don't know. That was just, it was a nothing. It did nothing for me. I didn't hate the segment, but I didn't like it either. What are you gonna do, I guess? So, next segment was the Golden Truth and Bailey segments, and I was seeing this on Twitter a lot. People were rambling about this, like it was the worst thing in the world. So okay, so Bailey hands Goldust and R-Truth, Goldust a Dusty Rhodes teddy bear, which had his had his signature singlet, and Bailey just, she gave this warm-hearted promo about how Dusty Rhodes was the reason she was NXT champion and stuff like that, and that was heartwarming to hear from Bailey and stuff. And man, I just love her personality, man. I honestly believe that that's just Bailey in real life, and honestly, I love her personality. So anyway, that was a little heartwarming moment, but then the school bullies, Gallows and Anderson, I'm just going to call them that because that's what they remind me of. Their promos, they remind me of school bullies, honestly. Just stereotypical school bullies. And anyway, so I think it was Anderson who took the teddy bear and he basically ripped the head off. And people were blowing up on Twitter. They were like, "Oh, Anderson took it too far, too far, too far." And you would think, like, when I was reading all this, I was thinking, they took a teddy bear and fucking guillotined it or something. It was just such an unnecessary commotion over this. It was just like I've seen stuff that has made this tame. If you've seen Breaking Bad, this would be tame to you. If you've seen the CM Punk storyline with Undertaker, this would be tame to you. And some of these guys are the same people who say, the Attitude Era needs to come back. Well, how is it going to come back if you guys are too sensitive for this stuff? Anyway, it was a little thing. It was a little heel moment for the club, and that basically set up to a tag team match, which I'll get into in a minute. Next, we saw the announcers talk about how Sasha Banks got taken out by Nia Jax and Sasha Banks' tweet, and Nia Jax comes out facing a girl named Scarlett with wearing a Sasha Banks t-shirt. So Nia Jax goes especially mean on Scarlett and basically pins her 1, 2, 3 with the leg drop, and after that she tells Scarlett to pick a better role model, and then hits her with another leg drop. And I thought this was kind of brilliant, if you ask me. Like, Nia Jax, she's being this monster heel, and she's saying, pick a better role model. Just the way she said it, that was such a cold line. And honestly, I'm liking the storyline. I can't wait for Sasha to return, and for them to have this this program. I think it'll be good. So next we got Chris Jericho and Owens. They go to Stephanie McMahon backstage. They complain about Mick Foley, and all this did was set up the U.S. title match for Roman versus Owens. Again, did nothing for me. Jericho and Owens were funny they were funny, and that was about it. Alright, so next we had Bayley come out, and she starts talking about how her Christmas present came early when she beat Charlotte. And then Charlotte comes out, she talks about how her lawyers got a hold of that little asterisk win, and then basically said it never happened. And Charlotte said that, you know what, for that we will have a third match, or a fourth, I guess. And this time I will have an insurance policy with an unbiased referee. Of course, Dana Brooke would come out. Now, I was thinking about this, and I read this on Twitter. I heard the rumors that that Dana Brooke was being called down to NXT or demoted to NXT. This way she hones her craft a little better, and I would have been fine with that. And I think since she's been gone, and off TV for a little while, that would have been fine to, make a storyline about her being demoted to NXT. And not only that, what's it called? You could have Charles Robinson come out, be that special referee, and you could play the exact same storyline, except with Charles Robinson, play the exact same match. Charles Robinson be the heel ref, and then I would love to see Bailey to Bailey onto Charles Robinson. I think that would have been funnier. So anyway, they have a match. It was kind of it was basic. You could tell they were just kind of holding back, and that seemed to be the theme of this Raw. That their matches were just kind of held back, and I think it's a good thing for the sake of the Royal Rumble, since most of these matches on the Royal Rumble are going to be on pay-per-view. So it's good to conserve to let the pay-per-view match to have the 5-star caliber match. Anyway, they go on for about a good 5-10 minutes. I don't know how long. And I forget what happened. So the regular referee, he was about to count the pin after Bailey hits the Bailey to Belly, and Dana Brooke pulls the referee out the way, and then Bailey goes out and chases Dana Brooke, and and you could see this finish coming out from a mile away. As I suspected, to some capacity, this was going to be the finish, and basically Dana Brooke is chased back into the ring. Bailey finally catches her, and Charlotte gets the roll up on Bailey. And Dana Brooke fast counts 1, 2, 3. Charlotte was your winner. So whether or not Bailey's the number one contender after that or not, well, we have to see next week. So next we have a backstage segment with Stephanie and Braun Strowman. And I'm looking at this and I'm realizing, Stephanie McMahon is just like trying to calm down Strowman, and Strowman is just tearing things up, and it's just the way the dialogue went. Don't get mad at me for those easily offended, but like it just kind of reminded me of that special ed kid who gets mad and the teacher just tries to explain to him everything that Sami Zayn's not there. I think that was the only thing I could honestly empathize with this. Braun Strowman just kind of looks kind of goofy when he's just so mad, and then you have the big, the teacher, or Stephanie McMahon, the boss in this case, just explain it to him like he really cares. It was just the dialogue. It just made it so weird to me. But anyway, it picked up at the end of the segment. Braun, he came out looking goofy at the end of it, but such is life. He pretty much did more than make up for it when he attacked the Shining Stars and Bo Dallas and Darren Young, and I'll get into that later. So Neville and TJ Perkins happens. Where do I begin? So I took a break from my workout to actually tune into this match all the way through, and it was a great match. A couple things I noticed. The fans were chanting Austin Aries in the middle of the match. I did not appreciate that so much, because when people are complaining about how Neville has not been on TV, and then you wonder why, and even Austin Aries, he seemed to like have some class to step over those chants. He was just like, Chicago, and I quote, "Chicago, I love you too. Let's get to the match." And it was just a kind way of saying shut the hell up and pay attention to the match. And honestly, I don't blame him. So, thank you, Austin Aries, for saying that, because I think after that, in saying that, I was thinking about it, and like, how is it people are going to complain about Neville not getting over it, and you give him no reception? Now, later in the match, you finally get the chance going for Neville, you get the chance going for TJP. That just kind of caught my attention. I just didn't like that. I did like the match. It was a good match. Probably one of the best. It was very engaging. I think Neville proved that his moveset, he could expand his moveset and be a heel with it, and he really did. He did a good job here. And I noticed there was no finishers in this match. TJP lost off of a roll up. Neither one of them went for their roll up for their finishers. At least Neville didn't. I know TJP went for a knee bar. That's how Neville countered into a roll up. Which I guess is what you call it. I don't know. But anyway, he countered it. He laid down and just got the tights on TJP. And that was it. It was a good match. And then Neville cuts this promo. That's what I forgot to mention. Neville cuts this promo that I just did not like because of one reason. America. You are the reason I was not liked or whatever. And anyway, he made this works for a typical foreign wrestler character, but just because Neville is from Britain does not mean he needs to be cutting this type of promo. Why they even made him say this it makes me mad. Now, honestly, I wouldn't throw the promo away altogether, because aside from that, everything else was good. He could have just tweaked it and said, listen, because what he said was, I don't have the face for it. And he also said, what else did he say? Well, anyway, he said some things that, a majority of internet fans would complain about. And I thought about it, and I think, if you just replaced, America with the internet or whatever, or just you fans, and just kind of make it general, this promo would be fine on its own. Why he had to say America? It made me mad, because it was an unnecessary promo. That kind of ruined it for me, but other than that, I guess I could have patience for it. Let's see where this Neville character rolls out from here, and I'm actually kind of liking this Neville character. Aside from that promo, he has yet to disappoint me. So, Enzo and Cass, they come out, and Enzo's in the wheelchair, and they start talking about what Jinder Mahal and Rusev did last week. And I'm thinking about this, and I know a lot of people are saying this on Twitter as well. I'm not the only one thinking this. But why is it Rusev and Jinder Mahal, or Rusev? Why is Rusev the bad guy in this? How is he the bad guy? How is he the heel here? Why is Byron Saxton, biasly saying, making it sound like Rusev's the bad guy here? Enzo's the one hitting on his wife. This is storyline stupidity right here. Now, if WWE is smart, the logical thing to do would turn Enzo heel and I guess turn Rusev face in the process. Now, I don't know what type of face Rusev could make, but I do know Enzo Amore, even as a face, he cuts these wild promos. Just today, he said some, which made no sense, but he was saying stuff like, whether I'm riding in a limo with a bimbo, and he said something like that, and that wasn't a PG promo. He cut this really nice wild promo as a face. So as a heel, it should be a lot easier. As a heel, he could be making these crazier promos, or at least maybe I'm wrong here, but he's making these promos, so that would kind of be the logical step to take here. Now again, I don't know what type of face Rusev would make, but it's story. It's simple story. That's all this is. So anyway, Rusev, Big Cass, he calls out Rusev. Rusev comes out with Jinder Mahal as his backup. And Jinder Mahal, he gets up outside the ring, and Rusev gets on top of the ring. And then Enzo, he gets up from his fake wheelchair injury, and he trips, he pulls Jinder's leg and drops him face first onto the side of the ring. And then Rusev and Big Cass just started brawling, and Big Cass got one over on Rusev and what's it called? Big Cass, he hits the bottom boom shakalaka onto Jinder Mahal, who was sitting on the wheelchair, and Big Cass at the end of this was the one screaming and getting the crowd pumped and popped up, or whatever the hell the word I'm looking for is. So there's that. It was good segment, I guess. Next, we had Shining Stars versus Darren Young and Bo Dallas. Now, can I say one thing? I thought Darren Young was a face here. Why the hell is he a heel? I hate when WWE does this continuity crap. And where the hell has he been in the last couple of weeks? I actually kind of like this Darren Young and Bob Backlund segment. I know a majority of internet fans don't like it, but I don't care. I like seeing it. So anyway, they go for about 10 seconds, and I'm not joking, they go for about 10 seconds till Braun Strowman comes out, and he basically lays waste to everyone. And I think he even attacked Bob Backlund too, so there was that. And nobody won, and there was thank you Strowman chants from the crowd. Just give that about a month, and people are already going to be sick of it. The internet is already going to be sick of it. Of the crowds chanting, thank you Neville, thank you Strowman. The internet's going to be sick of it. Me personally, I don't mind the crowds, but I'm just going to call it like I see it, and that's just my prediction, I guess. And so there was that. Next, we had Seth Rollins versus Braun Strowman. Another one I just didn't care about. I was actually kind of on my phone for a majority of this match. And Braun Strowman just ended up looking strong here and was just laying Seth Rollins out. And I think Seth Rollins eventually countered it, got a springboard knee on him. And I think that was Rollins' only offense in on him. And then Sami Zayn comes out, and his music hits, and then he comes out from the crowd to surprise Strowman, and he literally jumps on him and then throws him into the ring post twice. And then Braun Strowman he goes out and he chases Sami Zayn. And oh yeah, I also forgot to mention Strowman. He basically said, "I want Sami Zayn in a last man standing match." So yeah, just remember there's that as well. And following that, meanwhile, Strowman's chasing Zayn. Jericho, he comes out and he attacks Seth Rollins. Referee's coming out because Jericho has a weapon, I guess, which are his knees, and he hits him with a code breaker. And the referee pull apart was just kind of unnecessary. I would say I would say Nia Jax throwing an injured Sasha Banks was more necessary than this, but anyway, Seth Rollins gets hit with two code breakers, and then Jericho leaves. So, sorry, I'm pulling up the results here, so it's like, I gotta go by what I remember here for the most part. Alright, so, let's see, let's go to the next page here. Okay, so we had Anderson and Gallows versus the Golden Truth. So I was pretty much disappointed by this match. I didn't even bother to go into it. I noticed it was kind of a long match, and I just didn't care to watch it. I noticed Gallows and Anderson won off of a roll up, got the tights, and yeah, this was exactly what I was disappointed in, because to think, when these two guys came in, they were having a great program with Roman Reigns and the Usos. They went from that to feuding with the Golden Truth. And honestly, it's not like the Golden Truth are looking strong, because nobody is going to believe that these guys could potentially win the tag titles possibly ever anymore. And I'm not saying never, I'm saying ever. So that's just a possibility. That's just my prediction. So anyway, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, why is this match even getting any time? This should have been, 32 minutes max with Gallows and Anderson, who are 3-time IWGP champions. They should have just blown through Truth and Goldust. But no. So we're getting this program that I'm not liking at all. And normally I try to be nice about these things, but I don't care about it at all. So anyway, next we got Rich Swann versus Arya Daivari, which was also a really good match. I noticed the cruiserweight matches were probably the best matches on the show tonight, at least in my opinion. So Rich Swann versus Arya Daivari, it was a short match, but it was pretty good. Swann ended up winning with that spin kick, and he basically accepted Neville's challenge. And then Neville, comes out, he bum rushes Swann, and he attacks him. Swann took a nasty back first dive onto the LED board, by the way. So be sure to check that out. And Neville hits the red arrow onto Swann, who was on his stomach. So that was kind of it. Good segment overall. And oh yeah, there was the backstage segment with Arya Daivari. So the lady, I don't know her name, the commentary lady, we'll just call her Tina, because I don't know what to call her. She asks for him, what do you think are the 4 factors, or what do you think are the factors that led to your loss? Now, I don't know if if he misunderstood the question here, because I'm pretty sure she was talking about the match tonight. And he basically said it was all Jack Gallagher's fault, who wasn't even on Raw up until then. So it was like, what? And I noticed something today. There was a little trend with some of the characters today. So I'm looking at this, right? And I'm just gonna go on a little bit of rant, because why not? This review has been partially negative so far, or I guess overall negative so far. So Stephanie McMahon was the first one. She comes out, or no, it was back with that segment with Owens and Jericho. So I noticed, Owens brings up acrophobia, which for those I don't know is fear of heights. And Stephanie was like, I thought that was arachnophobia. Now, last week Jericho did this, and I kind of expected that from Jericho. It was funny the first time. The second time around, it was just weird. Like, Stephanie should not be saying something like that, especially when she's a general manager or a commissioner. It was weird to hear her say that, Plus, she never generally looks like a fool, and I know I'm probably making this out to be a bigger deal than it probably is, but it was just the stupidest thing. It was so weird. Okay, so after her, there was Charlotte coming out, and I know she's a heel, so, I'm not going to go as harsh on this, but Charlotte, she's like, you're such a child. And then she starts mimicking Bayley. You're 3-0. The fuck was that? I'm lost. Now, there was that, and now this. Daivari misunderstanding the question. How he lost to Swan tonight. So, I guess either one of two things happened. Either Swan kicked the living hell out of him, and his memory regressed 1 week back, or 2 weeks back, however long ago that first match was, or he just didn't understand the question. But anyway, Jack Gallagher, he comes out, or he shows up, the camera pans over to him, and Jack Gallagher, he cracks me up so much. The way he speaks is just awesome. And from what I'm hearing from everybody else, it's just they want this as much as I do. Pair them up with the vaudevillains. I would love that, man. So Gallagher, he comes out, or camera pans over to him. I'm sorry, it's just a force of habit when I say these things. So Gallagher, he says, you know what? I don't even remember all the words that he said. I'm just gonna paraphrase it for you. I noticed you said you called me a scoundrel just now. So, as a gentleman, I'm just gonna kindly allow you to retract your statement. And Daivari, he says, not gonna happen. And Jack Gallagher, he says, well, you know what? I'm going to challenge you to a gentleman's duel. To which Daivari replies with, a duel? No. Let me correct you, Daivari, if you're listening to this. Not a duel. A duel. Got to add a Y in there. But anyway, Gallagher, this guy's a hilarious guy. I love this character as it is. He's just a ball of wonder with this guy. He really takes gentlemen to a whole new level. So anyway, he pulls a black glove from his jacket, and as I'm seeing it, I'm just like, please do it. Please slap him with the glove. I would love it. And he did it, and he walks away, and I'm dying here. I'm just, I'm out of my mind. I couldn't believe it. And then I see Michael Cole and the commentary team just laughing at it, and then I just didn't care anymore. They kind of killed it for me. Except for Graves. I love Graves. But getting back to my point, Jack Gallagher is one hell of a guy. So, speaking of cruiserweights, I also want to talk about TJ Perkins. So, I never really did get to see TJ Perkins' entrance closely. I've always kind of seen it and just glazed over it, and you know, I'm looking at his entrance on the main roster. I don't remember this entrance being on the Cruiserweight Classic. I remember he did the signature dab and all that, but I realized, what the hell is this guy's character supposed to be? I mean, he comes out to the 8-bit theme song. He's wearing this ridiculous gear, which I realize has always been his, but it just looks ridiculous on him. And he has those hipster glasses, the stupid things, and then he dabs and he just... I'm thinking 6th grade whenever I look at this guy. I'm just... What the hell is this guy's character? Is he supposed to be some kind of hipster? It's like... I could only see middle school kids liking this guy. I didn't understand the low reception on the guy at first, but then again, I just didn't really pay attention all that well because it's Raw. And I'm looking at it and I'm just like, I can understand it now. Because I don't understand his character at all. It just makes no sense to me. And then I hear all these negative reviews on the segments the guy's in. It's just like, how the hell is WWE gonna like this guy? Or how the hell is WWE gonna get people to like this guy? Well, anyway, that happened, so let's get to the main event, alright? Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens. I was not excited for this match in the slightest. Mainly because for the past two, I felt they were boring. And if I'm wrong for saying this next statement that I'm about to say, so I'm going to try to be as careful as I can here. Because for those that don't know, I am a guy who's aspiring to be a pro wrestler. And I know if I were a fellow pro wrestler, I wouldn't want somebody, you know, who's a fellow pro wrestler to just insult me in general. So, listen, when I say this, I want to say this as kindly as I can here. Because there's no real kind way to say this. But when I'm looking at their past matches, they just do not feel like they've been pulling out all the stops. Like, when I look at this, when I look at their matches, the one on Raw, and I look at the match at Roadblock, you know, they've both been boring, and they both felt like both of these guys have had better matches. And in saying that, this match was no different, in my opinion. You know, I feel like these two could have both had a much greater match. So when I'm looking at their match on pay-per-view, I'm thinking to myself, they better knock this out the park. Because their past 3 matches have been pretty disappointing. And you know what? I'm going to cut them some slack on this when I say that, because you got to keep in mind they're also having matches on Raw. They're giving free TV on Raw. When these guys should not be having so many matches, you know, in a build-up. Like, remember Kevin Owens versus Dean Ambrose? How many times they faced each other on the episodes of Raw and episodes of SmackDown? You remember that? I got so antsy at their last match on Raw. I think it was like 2-3 weeks after WrestleMania. I just couldn't sit through it anymore because they had so many matches on free TV and on pay-per-view. It just anyway, that's what they're doing here, and it just, you know Why are they giving away free TV matches? I noticed they did that same thing with Charlotte and Bayley 2 weeks in a row now. I hate this type of booking, man. There's ways to get around it, such as Dean Ambrose and AJ Styles. These two have been kept away from each other. Not since their rivalry has begun, because they've had a few matches on SmackDown here and there, but it's not like they face each other back to back. They've actually kept, a 4-week gap between these guys. What with the James Ellsworth? So if you guys need to do that, do that. I don't mind it. It's so much better than having you two, face to face every single week doing the exact same thing. And it was the exact same thing, minus the frog splash to the announcer table. And I guess with the addition of Jericho, but again, same match. So that was Raw this week. Jericho, he gets attacked by Seth Rollins, and Owens eats a spear from Roman Reigns, and 1, 2, 3. Reigns retains. And it's not like I care, because Roman Reigns is being 2016's Dean Ambrose, where he held that belt and just didn't seem to give a fuck about it. Like, I'm looking at Reigns and just like the way he carries that belt around on the side of his back, and it just looks like he doesn't give a damn about that belt. I honestly don't think he cares about that belt one bit. Another thing I noticed in this match, they were getting CM Punk chants for a little bit. And given that you guys already know my opinion on this match, I don't blame these guys for giving a CM Punk match. Because again, this match was boring. It wasn't clunky. All the moves were executed well. Moves, I can't believe I said that. Jack Gallagher is catching on to me. Anyway, it was overall, I guess, a good show in terms of keeping the storyline progression going, but really bad in terms of the matches. I didn't catch Xavier or New Day versus Sheamus and Cesaro, but being that I'm not even reading so much rave reviews on that match, I assume that match wasn't great either. So, honestly, I gotta give this Raw a D. This was not a good Raw, except for Swan and Daivari and Perkins versus Neville. Those were the only two honestly worthwhile moments. Everything else was just kind of weak. So, I gotta give this show a D. That's my rating, and anyway, vote on our year-end polls. Time is running for the year-end polls, so there's that. Follow me on Twitter. I'm Eduardo Betancourt. And I'm out, you guys.